Yeah, let's dive into Roadhouse 2024. What'd you guys think?
I loved it. You didn't like it?
I didn't like it at all.
Oh my gosh.
We can get into it, but no, I didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you, Jay?
Jay hated it.
No, I fucking hated it. It's dog shit. Welcome to A Cast with No Name. We are your hosts. I'm Jay.
I'm Matt.
This is episode 90. This episode, we stroll the streets of Italy naked with a stick up our ass as we review and discuss Doug Liman and Jake Gyllenhaal's new action romp, Roadhouse. But first, don't forget to visit our website, acastwithnoname.com, where you can listen to our entire episode library, comment on episodes, write to our email. Plus, as always, you can find us on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And also, thank you for listening. And if you enjoy the show, please rate us, leave us a like, or tell us what we could do better. Helps the show find new listeners. Roadhouse.
Any fans of the original?
One right here.
Yeah, me too.
I saw it once. It was fine.
Right?
I think I was too old by the time I saw it.
Wait, you were 7 when it came out?
No.
It was too old.
Well, no. The first time I saw it, I think I was with you.
Oh, okay. I made you watch it.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. That was like the first and only time that I've seen it.
I am an unabashed Roadhouse fan.
Yeah?
It's my favorite guilty pleasure movie of all time.
Yeah, it's been on a couple of your top fives.
I love it. I love that.
What do you love about it?
I love that it's. You can tell that it's made, and I've seen a couple interviews with Rowdy Harrington, the guy who directed it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he meant for it to be serious or if he meant for it to be just fun. Because sometimes it's like, oh, he meant this. He meant like this for it to be like, this is like how it really is in bars. This is how it really happens. And then others where he's like, oh, it was just a fun thing. I think he says that after he heard criticism about it. He's trying to cover his bases, but
It's still a great film.
it is. It's good because I think he made it intentionally to be serious.
And it's so over
And
the
it's
top
not.
that it just happened to work.
It just happened to work. But that's why it's great, because I don't think they intended that, and it's like a miracle that it came out as cheesy fun as it did.
Yeah.
That's why I love it.
Because it came out it was like a couple of years after like Commando and just the ridiculous 80s action movies. And
They ran out of locations, so they were like,
yeah.
might as well.
Driving down the highway.
There's a roadhouse. There's a bar. That's stupid.
Yeah, it fits for the era, and I mean,
Right.
the only time I watched it, I was like, I mean, the humor in it, I think, is supposed to be funny. Like some of the lines and the throwaway shit. Like, I used to fuck guys like you in prison. I think that was supposed to be a serious line, but
Absolutely.
the nipple to nipple line, like, oh, I want to press up on her nipple to nip, like that. I think was supposed to be funny.
Trying to be funny. Yeah.
Trying to be funny, but it becomes so absurd, and I think just because it's that movie should have come out in the mid '80s, and I think after a couple of years, then you have like Forrest Gump, you have Shawshank Redemption, like you have the '90s kind of going the independent stuff to where more kind of going a little bit into more realism to where the over the top stuff isn't really existing anymore. And then I think it was easy to see it being a product of its time and enjoy it for the fact
Absolutely.
that this is like peak 80s over the top, kind of taken seriously, because I feel, it was a genius movie of let's have all this stuff happen, but play it straight.
Well, Swayze anchors it because he does play it straight. There's so many moments in that movie where you just cannot believe how serious they're taking it. Like the whole montage where he's doing like Tai Chi gets me every time, because you can tell he's, I don't know, in his mind he's like, I got to take this seriously, and I'm going to take it seriously, and we're going to make this work.
The opening scene where he's getting stitched up and he's like, pain don't hurt. Like, how did you say that with a straight face?
I don't know.
Professional actor.
It's ridiculous. Like I think of Over the Top, where I don't know what happened in the 80s, where they're thinking we got to have these niche things that are not as big of a deal. We're gonna make a movie out of it. Like, who would ever think that arm wrestling would be a thing that you should feel is important? It's the same way with this movie or with Roadhouse 89, where the guy who hires Dalton is like, I got the best cooler in the business. Like, there's a list of bar coolers that you can pick from.
Celebrities, like, oh,
like no one,
oh, yeah.
just like no one can ever name a champion arm wrestler. No one is gonna name like the top bar cooler. It doesn't exist.
Like they're known nationwide. Like, yeah,
Exactly.
Like, Dalton, I've heard of you. No, you haven't.
No, you
no
haven't.
one has. This is before the internet.
He's right up there with the top bowler in the world.
Exactly. Exactly. That's Ernie McCracken. You don't know who that is.
Yeah, I think that was probably just a product of action stars. And like, how many different movies can you put Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger in before you make, oh, this is like Commando, or it's like Rambo, or it's like Cobra. It's like, I mean, it starts getting to be the same fucking movie. And to where I think in the late 80s, that's why you had Over the Top. They were like, we needed like a huge, if we get Stallone or Schwarzenegger in our movie, we're going to make a lot of money. Great. What movie do you have? Well, he's a truck driver trying to reconnect with his son. Well, that'd be weird. They want to see him do something strong. He's an arm wrestler. Great. Throw that in there. And then they center the whole thing around that.
And I think what also elevated Roadhouse 89 was the villain was, I mean, Ricardo Montalban's really good in it. He plays that character so good from a cheesy perspective that it just works. And it's got the stupid, dopey side villains to it.
Yeah.
It's also ridiculous, and also the plot itself doesn't really make sense. It's like, oh, I got this small town that Ricardo Montalban or Brad Wesley is in control of, but then the Double Deuce is the only bar.
That's just
slipping
through his fingers every time. He just can't get a hold on.
He just can't figure it out.
Destroy it.
He says destroy it, and another thing that's funny is like it's the worst bar. It's got shit everywhere. People are fighting into it, but it's got every class of society that hang out there. Like you'll get the hot models with like designer dresses, and then you get like the guy who vomits on himself and wastes his paycheck away for scratch tickets, and he's at the bar too. It doesn't make any sense.
It's probably the only bar there.
It's the only. Doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's kind of like in a remote place in Oklahoma, isn't it?
Just outside Kansas City.
Okay. So they could go to the city if they wanted to. I was going to say, because maybe it's the only bar there. But
well, it's like Brad. I mean, you bought this town out. Can you just give these people a place to drown their sorrows without you fucking with it?
Yeah.
Build something else.
Build something else.
Something across the street that's nice.
Something. Anyway. Sorry, enough of Roadhouse 89. It's perfect to me.
Yeah, let's dive into Roadhouse 2024. What'd you guys think?
I hated it. I really did. It sucked.
I loved it. You didn't like it?
I didn't like it at all.
Oh my gosh.
I thought it's going to make my worst of the year list. I hated it.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I came up, one, I'm comparing it to my favorite cheesy movie of all time, and two, I expected it to be at least mildly fun, and it wasn't even mildly fun.
Really?
No, I did not enjoy it at all. And there's a couple reasons. Like, this is obviously the fight scenes and the choreography is better, but not to the point where I'm like, it's anything I haven't seen before. I mean, John Wick's. Yeah. What's that awesome movie that we love, where they're fighting in the tower?
Talented Mr. Ripley.
Great choreography.
Oh, Raid.
Raid. Thank you. You watch movies like Raid 2, John Wick's. It's the choreography doesn't stand out as much. It's obviously better than the original one, but it's not like, so that didn't even stand out. And then the rest of it was, I didn't care about the characters. Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal kind of just sleepwalks through this fucking movie. He doesn't really do anything. He has no like emotional range. It's when it tries to be funny, it's not cheesy funny. It's just stupid.
I thought there was a couple good throwaways.
There's a couple, but
There's one line I think I laughed at. It was the "Who taught you shapes?"
Yeah.
Our own little.
I was like,
I liked when Conor McGregor had the golf club and he said, "It's been a while since I've been clubbing," and then they went in.
That didn't get it. Is your mic on? Hello. There you go. Now I can hear you.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, we got to re-record.
No, we're
Sorry.
good.
Now I'll just boost it up.
Yeah. But we can get into it, but no, I didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you, Jay?
Jay hated it.
No, I fucking hated it. It's dog shit. I watched this and I'm like, God damn it. I was like, Matt's not allowed to pick another fucking movie.
I didn't know it was going to be that bad.
You should have known.
I thought it would be fun. It wasn't even that fun.
For me, I knew I was not, I knew, because I was kind of looking forward to the action and the gore.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, it's going to be ridiculous over the top fights. That I was kind of looking forward to until I saw the very opening fight scene with Post Malone. And
Yeah.
it's just that weird stuttering camera effect that they did. Now, I tried to figure out how they did it. All I saw is that they called it a multi-pass system.
Technique, yeah.
And what I'm assuming that means is, in The Other Guys, when he's like, there's drinking and then there's drinking with Terry Hoyts, and they have that sequence in the bar where everyone's standing still. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's what I assume is the multi-pass system is, to where they have a camera on a robot jib to where it does a movement and it does the same movement, and you have one actor do the thing and then you have the other actor standing somewhere reacting, and they just do a couple of passes and they lay it over on top to make it look like they're actually hitting each other.
Sorry,
go ahead.
So in some of those scenes, the fights with not necessarily that one because you see contact, but in a lot of those scenes with Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor, and when they're outside of the Roadhouse with the gang, towards the beginning, they did something where you don't really see, because the frames are so tight during the combat scenes, you don't actually see contact. You don't see Jake Gyllenhaal hit somebody. You kind of see it goes off screen a little bit. And what they did was they had a guy standing with a professional pad on his hand, and they would punch that pad. And they did that so that you could hit it as hard as you wanted to. And then they would kind of cut it so that it looked like you were hitting that guy. Yeah, you were getting hit in the face or getting hit in the stomach or whatever. But it allowed the actor to actually really cut loose and hit something. And then they pieced it together. That gave it a lot more of an intense feel when they were fighting.
See, and I disagree with the intense feel, because I feel like I was like, this feels fucking weird. It just feels awkward. And some of the hits were completely off screen. Then if that's the case, then they digitally cropped it and shifted the camera and editing to fit in the other person's face. And it gave it this weird sped up feel. Mm-hmm. It felt like it was sped up, computer generated, and everything. It just didn't work for me. I don't know if the process just needs to be refined, or the technique needs to be refined, or if it just doesn't work. I think it looks horrible.
Do you think it's in the Polar Express eyes phase?
No, it's just
it's better than that at least.
It looked cartoonish. It would look fine if I feel like that is a technique that you could do editing wise if you don't have the time to train actors how to fight or choreograph a fight. So if someone in college had a college film and it was they had action scenes and they don't have we didn't have a budget to train people, so we kind of stitch it together without hurting somebody. I can see the use of that for a movie made by Amazon with the director of Made in America, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and The Bourne Identity. No. And so, but action aside, I mean, the first fight scene with Post Malone, it looked sped up, it looked weird, and I'm like, that's odd. Well, it's I wonder if they did that because maybe Post Malone can't throw a punch very well. Mm-hmm. And I thought they were overcompensating. Then all the fight scenes were like that. I was like, oh, that was done on purpose.
Yep.
But anyways, no character arc for Jake Gyllenhaal. I hated Conor McGregor. He should not be in another movie.
I kind of figured that that's the character he's playing.
I figured that's what he would be too. That didn't shock me.
Not at all.
But
they gave him very few lines.
He doesn't act like a normal, obviously not a normal person. He doesn't even act like a person. The way he walks, I feel like his back would be fucked 3 days after just like walking
That's how he
fucking
walks.
gorilla.
That's how he
And
walks.
That's how he played the Conor McGregor fight hype guy.
Yeah.
That talks shit.
Yeah,
That's what he played.
I don't know how much he actually acted.
Oh, I'm
like
sure
he was
didn't
just
act at all.
Conor. Yeah, it was just Conor McGregor. And they were like, smile, and he just like had this shit-eating grin on his face
Yeah.
the whole time.
I
mean, he's supposed to be like a maniac anyway, so I guess
Yep.
he was that. But.
Yeah. I don't know. He took me out of it. A guy I work with was like, "Oh, I thought Conor McGregor was great." I was like, "I thought he acted great," and I was like, "No, that's like saying Eminem did really good at acting in 8 Mile. He didn't fucking act. He just played himself." And I was like, "That's not acting. That's just, I guess, being a tool on screen." But yeah,
That's why you haven't seen Eminem in anything since.
yeah, because he can't act. Oh, he was in the interview.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, he
Again, he's
was.
playing himself though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was pretty hilarious.
It was
scene.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm gay.
No, I'm saying I'm homosexual. I love.
I guess in
that.
my music, I've been leaving little gay
yeah,
breadcrumbs.
yeah, little nuggets. And Conor McGregor got yoked. I don't know what he took. Some steroids.
Yeah.
Some, like,
Cocaine.
super enhanced steroids. Yeah. His legs were like, I'm like, holy shit. Just been
But yeah.
squatting all day.
Wasn't a fan. None of the characters were really memorable, except for the bookshop father-daughter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that relationship, and those back and forths. But
Did you like the double deuce nod?
I did like that. And I was actually confused when he got off the bus because he was like, where's the
Roadhouse?
the Roadhouse? And I'm like, isn't it right there next to the bookstore?
Oh,
Because I
yeah.
saw the Double Deuce right away. And I was like, well, that's the Roadhouse is the Double Deuce. And then it kind of talked it out. Well, it's just the Roadhouse. It's down the street. And I was like, okay, I guess that was just they just slipped that in there for old time's sake.
Why is it called the Roadhouse?
The Roadhouse. It's a joke. Get
It's
it?
a joke, yeah. Yep.
wasn't.
Yeah, the characters sucked. I don't even remember the love interest name. I don't even remember.
No one does. The camera movements were erratic. I don't know if
Oh, I kind of like that.
when
The camera when the camera would like
swoop
would like
around,
swing,
like
well, not that so much, but just kind of like when he's ordering the coffee and the camera kind of swings over and he's like, well, "What's that?" And she's like, "Oh, this is a Cuban coffee," and it like swings back and he's like, "Well, can I have one of those?" I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting way to do that back and forth between the characters.
that I didn't mind so much. It was more of the overuse of drone shots.
Oh, okay.
To where and it's just like swirling around. The guy's getting his neck shaved, and it's just like 180 degrees.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
just
Yeah.
hyper movement.
Yep.
To which I feel like was done to add energy to a scene, and it didn't make me sick because I'm not a puss, but like it wasn't enjoyable. Well,
What's the you take it to keep from getting
Dramamine.
Dramamine. You take the
yeah.
Dramamine before you watch.
But
this
it was
movie.
like it wasn't enjoyable. I was like, stop moving the fucking. Get a tripod. Just like just settle, and let's like look at something instead of. But
And that was stupid. Like, I need a shave right now on a boat.
Yeah.
When it's like, why?
it is trying to introduce his style of character, but he never acts like that manic again.
No.
yeah.
It's like he's kind of more subdued throughout the rest of the movie.
Well, he doesn't even pull the strings. His dad.
No,
from
his
prison
dad is.
does.
Yeah, he's just kind of a figurehead. I guess
That was like mistake one. Like, if you want the baddie, and if you got to have someone like Brad Wesley from the first one,
who's there doing it.
He's doing it.
Either make the kid the guy doing it, or make
not.
the guy in prison pulling the strings
Right.
the guy doing it, and show him.
it didn't. You
You never see him.
No.
They didn't need to write that
you didn't
in.
need that element.
It
no.
could have just been.
He just could have been the bad guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that.
No.
That decision. Because he sucks as a villain. He's not threatening at all.
No.
He's just a
He's like
petulant child.
yeah, a rich preppy kid
Who's doing the bidding of his dad from prison. He's not really that threatening or
Yeah, he
intimidating.
doesn't seem formidable.
No. Yeah.
But Coop, you liked it. What did you like about it?
I just like that it was different enough. Like I sat down to watch this and I was really like, I really hope that they're not trying to make it like the 89. And all the basic story is there, of course. All the characters are pretty much the same. But it was just different enough to kind of keep me engaged and not think like, oh, this is a reshoot of the 89 version. Mm-hmm. So I like that aspect of it.
Yeah. I did like that they answered the the whole question that the first one didn't. Like, why exactly do they want this roadhouse to fail so badly? The first one, they don't really answer that.
Right.
But at least this one,
he just wants it out.
He just wants it out so they can sell the land to him so he can create some resort.
Yeah, and I know this, I mean, it's reading way too much into it, but I was like, because they're like, oh, why does he want the roadhouse gone? And I'm just sitting there watching it with Chrissy. I was like, he wants the land.
Yeah.
And
it's always the land.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
And then it comes out, oh, he wants the land. And I'm like, why doesn't he just raise property taxes? If he owns...
Exactly.
just drive them out that way.
Like,
everything else.
Gentrify it. I mean, that's a thing. And because if he owns the property before and after, and that's just that one small part, and he already has all these high-rise condominiums around it, the property taxes are already fucking high.
Yep.
And
drive her out of business.
Yeah. Well, my whole thing was like, if you see the little set, like his little model, like the buildings are back off the water anyways. So it's like, just build that. Where are you going to go? You're on vacation with your family. You're going to go to this beautiful resort, or you're going to go to this shithole where people are getting their teeth kicked in. Just build your thing. Let it go out of business naturally. Darwinism at its finest.
Exactly.
Well, that, and also there's a thing called eminent domain. And that's something that the government can use if they want your land. And what they'll do is, especially like if you go to a city council or whatever, once it gets approved, and a developer wants to develop something, like if they want to widen a road or take something, they could say, hey, we want to purchase this because it'll be better for the community as a whole. We're going to offer you fair market value. And if you don't take it, then they'll find a way to take it anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, but
they'll set a fire.
Those are more, set the place on fire. Why didn't they just burn it down?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. But obviously, it's not the point of the movie. It's reading.
Yeah,
too
it'd be a
much
pretty
into
short
shit,
movie.
but
It's very true. Yeah, just make a couple bars.
It'd be backflash.
That's what it should be called, eminent domain. And it's just a city count. All right, for motion 2967B, we have Dalton. Dalton, where do you? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everyone in that town, at least they call it out. When Jake Gyllenhaal is sitting there eating breakfast, his conch chowder, and he's like, everyone in this town is so aggressive. And mentions it to the doctor, and doctor's like, well, there's a lot of old families here, and we're just territorial. And I'm like, a lot of small towns are, but a lot of small towns aren't like that.
Yeah, you don't just go beating people up.
Yeah. Like to where two people get in a fight in a bar, and then someone yells "bar fight" like they're yelling
and,
food.
Yeah,
fight,
yeah, and then the whole it was like it was so funny. Like people would just jump up and grab whoever's sitting next to them, and just a complete eruption of nonsense. Yeah.
But and who would want to go to that bar? I think they had a different band every night.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you want to come and play for this bar? We can only pay you $100 a night because I'm paying $5,000 a week to the bouncer. And
also, there's a chicken wire cage to keep the glass bottles from hitting you in the face.
Yeah, and we're known to have extreme amounts of violence and people throwing shit at the band. And
I did like that they didn't try to make one of the band members a character in this one, like they did the first one. It was pretty unnecessary in the first one. I mean,
at least that one, it was just one band playing every time.
night, right? So it made sense that they would have a relationship, sure. Yeah. But yeah, it was just like one more character that we don't need to be introduced to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't want a real character in this movie.
Well, he wasn't it anyway.
I didn't like that they didn't take any. I mean, the movie's 2 hours. They gave no time like the first one did, where you get to see like how Dalton would like build his team and like introduce those characters.
Yeah.
You get to know them a little bit more. Like that stupid scene where it's like, "Do you hit the heavy bag lately?" It's like, "Yeah, I've been known to." And now he's a bouncer.
Now he works there. Yeah.
And now like that's the only line he had. And now we're supposed to like him.
Well, he said at one point in the movie. Well, when Dawson's recruiting him to that, he was like, "You really had so and so's back the other day," and I'm thinking like, I don't remember that. Was that a scene that was cut? Like, I don't remember this kid jumping in for the surfer dude who was trying to bartend.
Don't remember.
I watched it twice and didn't see it. I watched it.
You watched it?
I watched
twice?
it last night and I watched it today.
Goodness.
Yeah. I wanted to be prepared.
Oh boy. Bless your heart.
But to my point, I don't remember that at all. And it's like, well, you could have not had, like, that whole thing didn't have to happen, right? Because it's the only scene that kid was really in. That's the only lines he had. The rest of the time, he was just kind of backing them up. Like, he could have just been an extra.
Yeah.
What difference would it have made?
No.
None.
That montage of them just bouncing people out of the bar, like the kid and his friend. Like, do you notice the look on their face every time they're like tossing some? They're like the biggest smile on their face, like
happy to
like,
be here,
like throwing them out.
We know what we're doing
like,
now.
No resistance at all.
No.
Just a nice smile on the face. And
I did like the change of pace where Swayze was like, "Be nice."
Yeah.
And Jake Gyllenhaal's just like, "Nah, kick his ass, step back, punch him in the face." Definitely a different technique than what I was expecting from '89.
Yeah.
They just didn't do it in that movie.
I just thought it was supposed to be an over-the-top movie, and that's exactly what it was. I mean, they're not looking for deep care. This isn't Shawshank Redemption. It's
I get that.
Fucking about a bouncer.
No, I know, but I think they could have done a little bit better with the story to make you invested in it. And to do that, I think just a little bit work on the characters. Yeah. I mean, they still probably could have had the same characters. I think honestly, the movie would have worked better if they didn't call it Roadhouse, but like bookstore and call it the bookstore. And because that's the only connection I saw characters have was like Jake Gyllenhaal, the daughter of the bookstore owner, and the bookstore owner. Those three together, I thought was fine, and they wouldn't have to hire him. He could have just been like a wandering person, so they could do the wandering cowboy movie that she referenced. And I mean, they could have had kind of the same story to where, oh yeah, we had this bookstore because my dead mother wanted it and everything, so we have it in her memory. And it's like, okay, that's like a noble thing, as opposed to, oh yeah, I got this roadhouse that my uncle left me, and yeah, he was like, he built it with his bare hands and stuff like that. And I'm like, you serve horrible people. Like, what good is this doing to anybody? Like, there's no, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the bookstore was like the Red element, like in the first one, right? Like Red owned the whatever the corner store, the auto repair stuff, and they were beating up Red and all that bullshit. And so that was just, the bookstore replaced the auto repair place. It was just to show Jake Gyllenhaal has a heart of gold, and
it's true.
He gave him the money at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert.
That no one's looking for.
That nobody's looking for.
That is immediately going to get
confiscated. I heard you took the money. I didn't take that money. My deputy said you did. Oh yeah, I did take that money.
Yeah. That poor guy's going to get audited. He's going to be arrested for tax evasion at the worst.
Or the drug dealers that it's supposed to be for. They're not going to wonder where it went.
Nobody's going to miss this. Yeah.
He put a target on him. He's an asshole.
I know. This movie is definitely lacking a Sam Elliott. Man.
Yeah, I did notice that.
God.
Yeah,
he's just badly needed.
And they could have merged it to where they could have had the. I'm still stuck on the bookstore story. Like they could have had the father kind of be that kind of character, but like Jake Gyllenhaal is like suicidal at the very beginning of the movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and then at
which
the end
they never address, by the way.
Yeah, they never go back to it. It's like, oh, is that going to be his arc? He's going to find a reason to live. He's going to overcome his depression of killing his.
Yeah, that's what it was. He killed his friend. Yeah, that is stupid.
Like, oh, he was your friend. I just lose control sometimes. Yeah, that's called a fucking psychopath. Yeah. And he's like, I'm just trying not to lose control. So you put yourself in situations where you could lose control.
Like, but that's all he's good at, Jay.
That's all he does.
This is all he knows.
He finally snaps.
That's what he says. Gym like everybody else.
That's what he says. I'm afraid. I'm afraid of what I'm gonna do if I'm pushed too far. And that's when he's like killed that guy. Brought him to. I don't understand why he killed the guy and brought him to the island and shot him in the chest to confuse the police, is what he said. But I mean,
to pin the murder on that guy he was trying to extort.
On the sheriff.
Yeah.
But the sheriff is in charge of the whole thing, so he would just be like, "No, deputy, you're free to go."
Well, he didn't know it at the time.
I know this guy.
Wait, did he know it at the time? I can't remember.
Well,
when did he meet Big Dick? That by the way is the sheriff's nickname in this movie.
Yeah. Well, Big Dick was in on it from the beginning, so it's like as soon as Jake Gyllenhaal took that money and framed the deputy, like the deputy was just like, "Hey, Big Dick, I didn't kill this guy.
Yeah,
he
here's
did.
what happened.
That's why I don't have the money, and he does." And he's like, "Oh yeah." Like it bought him 2 seconds.
Which that I kind of liked, to where he's like saying, it's like concussions, you're going to lose your short-term memory.
Yeah.
And you think, and then he's like, yeah, my deputy told me, and he's like, huh.
Oh, that's a good point.
There were good comic relief moments in it too, like when there's a big brawl. And the one guy's like holding the chair over his head, and he walks by Dawson, and he's like, "Oh, hey, good to see you." And he like just keeps going.
Yeah,
the guy that was
my
fat
favorite guy. The guy that had his arm broke.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh wow, you could lift that whole body into that truck. Good for you."
Yeah.
Well, see you later. Thank you for all the violence.
It was pretty funny.
I thought the first scene where he takes them all to the hospital was a little ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's like,
for sure.
These guys just tried to kill you. They're going to be all cordial with you, and
They're just happy to get some help.
I know.
Right.
I was waiting for someone to start strangling him from the back seat.
Bump.
None of you guys try to bring a gun, and he's right there.
Yeah.
Doctor runs out just to give him a stern talking to. Oh, thanks for bringing in these injured people. Where meanwhile, there's other people that deserve this medical
Treatment,
care
yeah.
more. And
It's like, then
she
treat them first.
She
I don't give a shit.
continues to hang out with them for an
No.
hour. Well, no, but then she continues.
Triage. Like, figure it out.
No, she continues to hang out with him for an hour, stitching him up.
Well, yeah.
And then
Look at
he's
him.
like, "Oh, I don't want to hold you up from other patients." And she's like, "Oh, that's what nurses are for." And I'm like, "Oh, so you just wanted to go out there and bitch and still not?"
She just wanted to talk to him so she could get him on that island, on the sandbar date.
Yeah,
Come on, Jay.
get some of that sausage.
Nobody makes rational decisions.
No,
No.
it was a great decision where it's so dumb. They kidnap. I can't remember her name, her face, the love interest.
Yeah.
And his bright idea was, I'm gonna tell him I'm bringing the money, and I'm not gonna bring the money. I'm gonna bring a bag full of dynamite, and I'm gonna blow it up, even though I have no idea where she might be. And if she is, I'm gonna blow up this ship
That's
where
just
she's
her
probably
fault.
being held on.
Ellie is
and
her
she's
name.
probably gonna drown. Makes no sense, right?
No.
But it was a pretty cool scene, right?
Because he's a dummy.
Yeah.
He's a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
The whole thing was stupid, but they tried to make it funny by with the
click.
remote not working right away.
Yeah. And they like turned around,
Like, what
like
are you-
pointed it right
what
out.
are you
like,
doing?
like when your car won't unlock and you
Yeah.
like push it. Yeah.
Point it to your chin and point your finger. The yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
don't know.
What else?
Why is Post Malone in it?
I don't know. He has some man boobs, that's for sure. I don't think he's gonna.
I thought
I
that
don't think
he
he had
was,
the cardio to.
I thought
to
that he
kick
was going to
someone's
be
ass.
like
A major character?
Jake Gyllenhaal's like sidekick kind. Yeah, like a
Like he
secondary
had his own character poster. Like I get
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
PR and everything else.
Sure.
And like, oh, Post Malone's in this, and he
did?
plays a character that pushes out of a fight.
Yeah. At the very beginning. Yeah. And they reference him several times throughout the movie. Like, go get, I forget his first name, Ford. Like, have Ford do it. Ford's your guy. And later on, he's like, I told you should have had Ford do this for you. And he turns around and
Yeah, I
like,
thought he was gonna like bring him back. Like
Yeah,
they were gonna do
something,
like
yeah.
an Avenger scene, like all these just
just all the
chubby
nationally
bouncers
ranked,
coming-
all the
yeah,
nationally
the
ranked Roadhouse
UFC
bouncers
yeah,
show
UFC
up and
and-
back up Dawson.
bouncers show up and they all
He
just
does
run.
have a poster.
He does.
He's in the movie for 2 minutes.
Thought I made it up. I
know
know
he
he's-
contributed a song to the soundtrack. I don't know if that. Yeah, I don't know if that has anything to do with it. That was probably part of the dealings to get that.
Probably.
The bar owner was a nothing character. Like for someone that
Terrible actor, by the way.
was going to be, she is better in. She's in Shrinking.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, and she plays one of the main characters in Shrinking. She's good in that.
Okay. I was watching with Nicole. She's like, Matt, can you pause it? I'm like, sure. Is it me or is she like the worst at delivering lines? Like, yeah, this is not good material. I have not seen her.
I think
in
it's just the
anything else.
lines, actually. I mean, I thought everyone did fine, I guess, with the lines they were probably given.
Yeah. Who wrote it? I looked it up and I already forgot.
He was one of the writers of The Nice Guys.
Really?
Now, see, this is the thing.
I can see that.
Nice Guys is so good, though.
Well,
a great
Shane
movie.
Black also had a hand in writing that.
Oh, okay.
So I'm pretty sure the basic story was probably written by, because like one guy I think did Dog Shit and the other guy did The Nice Guys was the only other thing of note that he did. But Anthony Bergarazzi.
Bagarosi.
Yeah. Anthony Bagarazzi. Bergerozzi. Bada
Bada beep, bada boop.
Yeah, the nice guys.
Boopity-bop.
So he probably had a story credit for that. And then there's like 3 other writers. I didn't look to see what they did because
It doesn't matter, right?
it doesn't matter. It's dog shit. But and then you have the producer of The Matrix and every other like awesome
Joe Silver.
yeah
Yeah.
every like awesome action movie in the past 20, 30 years.
Yep.
All the way up into The Matrix. And then you have Doug Liman,
Yeah.
The Bourne Identity, Mr. and Mrs. Smith,
American Made.
American Made, All
Swingers.
You Need Is Kill, the Tom Cruise, what's it called?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Swingers.
Swingers.
Well, then great. He's great.
I mean, he is a good director.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck happened. I just don't, because
He's like Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters. If this is a steady paycheck, count me in.
well, I'm guessing he had a back end deal, like as
Probably.
far as like a portion of the box office, because he was upset that they weren't going to release it in theaters. He's like, oh no, this is the best movie ever. You should release this.
Was he really?
Oh yeah. He was trying to get it. Once Amazon said, yeah, we're not releasing this, it'll go straight to streaming. He was like, oh, this is one of the best films I've directed. Like, this needs to be in theaters. I think he was trying to drum up some kind of social media movement.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay.
To release it, because I guarantee his contract for that was, oh, you get 5% of the revenue.
I gotcha.
That would be the only thing, because I watched it. He could not seriously watch this and think, yep, I've reached the pinnacle. This is the best thing I've done.
It is the best. It's not.
But yeah, we watched this on Friday, and the next night I watched The Bourne Identity.
Great. I haven't seen it in forever.
You would not. I mean, it's so weird that, I mean, and he's a competent director.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, The Bourne Identity, Edge of Tomorrow, or whatever it's called. All those movies have great action in it, and this one doesn't. Like, it's just...
It's because the stories are better in those.
But
the action's good too, but...
You just take the action out of it. Like, I mean, everything looks so... Like the truck scene on the bridge, when it, like, tries to run him over.
Yeah, it looks
and then
fake.
it goes and back...
It does. Yeah.
It just looked fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's just, like, the camera choices, the shot choices that he had, I don't understand.
I didn't like when him and Conor McGregor are fighting, and then when they get each other in headlocks, or Dalton gets, what's his name, Knox in a headlock, and then they swerve around, and then it's like a steady cam point of view to like where you move the camera's moving, like as he's moving around, and then he goes back. It didn't need to do that.
There's
I
a
know,
couple
'cause
times
it's kinda
it
stupid.
switches into a point of view shot
Yeah.
too, which really kind of, I'm like, where'd he go? Oh, I'm him. Okay,
Yeah.
that was pretty weird.
Yeah.
You want to hear this?
No.
You're gonna love this.
No, I don't.
Director Doug Liman said Jake Gyllenhaal's performance in this film was one of the best of his career.
I'd say.
Of Doug Lehman's career or Jake Gyllenhaal?
Jake Gyllenhaal's career.
Oh, okay.
So Doug Liman.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Like, you can't honestly.
He's
you can't.
lying.
Well,
It's
I
like-
know.
it's
I
like-
know.
like
You
every
gotta
time
pump
they're-
up your movie. You know? What
like-
you gotta do? Oh, yeah, it was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Don't
You
watch
could say
it.
anything else. You could say anything else about it. But come on.
I mean, it's like every time there's a Terminator movie, and then they always like wheel out James Cameron and Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, oh yeah, I approve. Just like the new Alien trailer. And now there's like the director saying, yeah, I showed it to Ridley Scott, and he said, you know what? He's like, what can I say? It's excellent. It's a fantastic. I mean, it's a fan. I'm like, of course, he's a producer on it. He's
Yeah.
not gonna
He's not gonna
shit
shit
on
on his own
movie.
plate. Yeah.
And he's like, I could do better.
It's very true. I talked to Ridley. He hated it.
I mean,
Comes out August 24th.
I mean, he gets something out of all these movies, right? So no matter what, like leaning against the guy who initiated it, like it's Fugazi.
It's a Fugazi.
You know? Like
That's what they need to start doing, though. Because if the director of the Alien movie is like, yeah, Ridley Scott hated it, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot.
Exactly.
Because he hasn't turned out a good product in probably about 15 years. So I think he's lost his way. He doesn't know what good is anymore. And
That should be on the marquee, right? Alien Romulus. Ridley Scott hated this movie. Watch the box office just coming in droves. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I understand why they remade this movie, but Didn't live up for me.
Well, and Jay, you were kind of saying earlier that it should have just been called something else, and I think that's kind of what I did like about it was that it was different enough from the original one that it could have been its own thing, but still in the same vein that if they would have called it something else, it would have drawn. People would have said, "Well, this is basically Roadhouse, anyways." So they were like, they just call it. Well, fuck it, we'll just call it Roadhouse.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know if
It was similar. It was similar enough.
Similar, maybe. It's not. It wouldn't be because I mean, if they did it to the bookstore and they kind of had his character be kind of like a wandering person, they could keep the suicidal thing in there to where it doesn't have a reason to live, but then it starts turning into classic westerns and stuff like that. As far as like the unknown hero coming into town, saving, and then going off and to his next adventure or whatever.
A Shane, if you will, if you've ever read that book.
No.
Seen that movie?
Yes.
Okay. There you go.
So
same premise.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like one of those classic stories. So I feel like comparisons would have been made to those. Now, if they did it over the top, maybe, but I mean, it doesn't hurt. I mean, Fast and Furious was just a remake of Point Break, but it was different enough to where
cars.
it was its own thing.
Yeah.
With cars.
Family.
Live my life a quarter mile at a time.
If they would have made the relationship between Dalton and whatever her name was a little bit better.
The love interest?
Yeah.
A little bit more invested.
Don't even need a love interest.
Or that. Remove it completely.
Yeah.
They should have had like a Sam Elliott character, something, because I didn't feel like he connected. Well, other than the bookstore owner and the little girl, other than that, but they were barely in it. Some character, because he seemed like he was just there. He didn't really.
Well, I mean, he got paid to be there. Like,
I know he got paid to be there,
it was
but
just
like
the job. Like that's it.
I feel
He's
like he
there
didn't
for
want
the
to be
money.
there, really.
No, he didn't. He didn't want to go. He almost killed himself rather than go to this town and do this.
And that's the thing. Like,
yeah.
And then he lived and was like, "Oh fuck it, I guess I go make this $20,000 in a month." And
then he would need a reason to be invested, which I guess, they blew up the bookstore. Now I'm pissed, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But then I don't understand his.
Well, that is what happened.
Yeah, but then I don't understand his. I killed my friend.
Oh, and they kidnapped his girlfriend too.
Yeah,
but I feel like
guess that's a reason for her character.
Well,
but they wouldn't even need that. They could just fire up the bookstore, and then that would give him enough thing to. You're like, now I'm mad.
Yeah. But the relationship built between the love interest, it just wasn't there. So I felt like, would this guy really would he give a shit?
Yeah,
I don't think he would.
She wasn't even in it that much.
No.
Like enough to make me feel like he's invested in this.
Right.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, other than she's hot, I want to.
Man's got to get his dick wet.
Yeah.
Exactly. I get that, but would you risk your life if there wasn't a deeper connect? No, you
Must
won't.
have been real good.
No, it wasn't.
Really?
With her line delivery, it was not good.
Yeah.
The
she was the rat catcher in the Suicide Squad, the James Gunn one. I was like, how do I know her? That's right.
She has a generic pretty face. I didn't even recognize her from Suicide Squad. I saw the James Gunn one, but
You're so nice.
what? There's no personality behind these characters.
There wasn't.
The bar owner I felt like she was in it for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
she
was
wasn't
at
in
the
it too
end,
much either.
but it was like there was one conversation they had that I thought was really weird. Like she was holding information back from him, like, "Oh, who's so and so?" And she's like, "I don't know." And then he approaches her later. He's like, "Oh yeah, he wants the bar and he wants to show." Like, why would you hide that from him?
Yeah.
Yeah, who
what-
cares? Why,
like,
what
there was-
difference does it make? Yeah.
False.
It's going to be the deal
tension
breaker
or
if I'm
something.
coming.
Yeah, it's like, I don't.
If you would have told me that, I wouldn't have come down here. It wasn't the $5,000 a week. Just
Maybe it's because all the other bouncers had already been scared off, so she was like, maybe if
Yeah.
I tell him less, he'll be more inclined to come. I don't know. Yeah, it seems superfluous to not.
they should have had a
hide
scene in
that,
there
yeah.
where, because she didn't know if he was going to come or not.
Yeah.
Like if another bouncer, I don't know.
Like he sees the other head bouncer.
Yeah, they both walk
get
in.
beat up.
And she breaks a pool cue and she's like, "We're going to have tryouts."
Oh my gosh.
And then she makes a pencil disappear.
Exactly.
And then Jake Gyllenhaal puts a fishbowl on top of his head, calls himself Mysterio, and then flies off.
That's right. Yeah, they should have just put The Dark Knight in a Blu-ray player, and then the movie transfers over to The Dark Knight, and then we just start watching The Dark Knight. Would have made the movie better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie's about as shallow as a kiddie pool.
Sure.
But I liked it.
You liked it?
It was fun.
Nice.
Yeah. It was just fun. Yeah. I mean, it's no Forrest Gump. It's
See,
not winning any awards, that's for sure.
And
but
I understand that, and I wish I just didn't have fun watching it.
Yeah.
I think it's probably what ruined it is like the one thing I was looking forward to is like the fight scenes. And I feel like with this kind of story, make it over the top, but I feel like it was too fake looking overall. Just have them just beat the shit. Use the camera angle differently and do the typical stuff, but just have over the top fight scenes in it that I don't know. That was probably the thing that took me out most and made me not enjoy it, is because the thing that I was looking forward to just looked the fakest out of everything.
I was disappointed that there were no throat rips.
Yeah,
They had throw punches.
Yeah,
throat
that was not
punches.
good enough.
You didn't like it?
No.
You know,
that's not a substitute for a good throat rip.
you didn't like the stabbing of the pieces of wood?
Oh,
to
yeah.
metallic,
And Conor
random
McGregor lived at
Metallica
the end.
music?
Did you see that?
Did he really?
It must have been after a
the
post-credit
credits?
scene, but he walks out of the hospital.
Oh, yeah. With
Get naked again. Yeah. Or I guess he's got a gown on, but of course it's from the...
They showed the
He's
bloodshot.
walking away, yeah.
Oh, good
So
for
he
them.
gets stabbed in his lungs 4 times, 2 each, with the sticks, and then
Oh, it's a Roadhouse 2 spinoff, baby.
just gets out. Oh, there's going to be a sequel.
Starring
No,
Conor
there won't.
McGregor.
there will not be a
I
sequel.
don't know. They've made sequels to some pretty shitty movies, Jim.
#1 streaming movie last week, Jay.
Jake Gyllenhaal won't be in it.
No.
I guarantee
He
it.
might not. Yeah.
Because I think there were some stories that he was like people were saying that he was kind of like he was abusive, quote unquote, on set, like to this movie. Like he was like
Really?
yelling at people, and I'm like, after seeing it, I'm like, I could see that.
Yeah.
Like he
You
probably
think he just,
realized
like,
it was
fuck
just
this
dog
movie?
shit.
Yeah.
He was like, no, this is gonna fucking blow, and he's
Took
just
it
like,
out
you
on
know what?
everybody
I'm
else.
fucking burn bridges here. I'm Jake Gyllenhaal, bitch. He's like,
I worked out for this.
yeah. He's like, I'm the only one here that has a career. I'm going to get ruined.
That's true.
And I'd be pissed too. I'd be like, really? I signed up because you directed The Bourne Identity, and I'm getting this?
Yeah. Could be.
15 fucking drones flying around, and
Yep.
Conor McGregor walking like if his thighs touch, he'll be called gay.
That's how he walks.
Yeah,
That's how he walks.
fucking stupid.
He's like a peacock. He makes himself as
big as possible.
It looks like a turtle.
He walks like that, you know. Yeah.
If anything, his walk was muted.
Yeah.
Compared to
How
how he
tall
is
is
when
he?
he's walking out.
He's not tall.
He's like
I was going to
5'6"
say, he
or
walks
something,
like...
maybe. He's
is
not
he-
very tall.
Yeah.
He's a welterweight. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he walks like somebody that was picked on for being small his entire life.
Yeah.
Like, I got to make myself as big as possible. I was like, no one needs to.
Well, no one picks on him anymore.
No, not at all.
He's at least 210 in this movie.
Oh, 5'9". Okay.
220. He put on so much. And it's like he doesn't even look like because when he fights welterweight, he's like 170. He put on like 50 pounds. It's a lot of roids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway.
You guys have anything else on
No, I don't.
Roadhouse?
Neither. Roadhouse.
Watch
go
the
watch
original.
It. Go watch it.
It's on Prime. The original. 8 and
If
9.
you're going to watch a Roadhouse, yes, watch the original.
Watch them in sequence.
Pain don't hurt.
Pain don't hurt. There was
believe-
definitely a lack of one-liners in this movie. That was disappointing. Yeah.
Yeah, what was the one? Oh, Piano's out of tune. That was one. Oh, do you forget it? You saw it twice. How do you forget?
Out of 10.
He was like hitting his head on a piano.
I think it sounds in tune to me. Or whatever
Yeah,
he said.
yeah,
Sounds pretty
yeah.
good to me. Yeah, as he's bouncing his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I was like, shit, is it not that movie?
No,
I
it
watched.
is.
No, it's
I-
that movie.
I watched quite a bit of things over the weekend, but
Yep.
I can't believe you watched this twice. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I had fun
Because
with
he
it.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen fucking, I don't know. Name a generic Wes Anderson movie. I don't know.
some movie that somebody else went on.
And I hate being a downer because it's just like I want to enjoy movies again,
Yeah.
but so fucking.
The skepticism of adulthood has ruined you, I think, maybe.
maybe, or I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's like not a lot. All right,
Well, it's because nothing's exciting anymore, Jay.
Jay,
we we remake or rehash old IP. That's all the movies are anymore.
Yeah.
here's
There's
how much
nothing
faith
original.
Amazon had in this movie. You know how, like, when you go to IMDb and you go to a movie that just got released and they have like the pop-up ad thing, background shows up like advertising the movie as you're looking at the page of the movie.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
how to
yeah.
do that. Here's what they have on the Roadhouse. Fleas and ticks suck. Stop sucking with Seresto. And then they have... They don't even have like a big
They don't have a banner. for it?
Roadhouse release now streaming on Prime.
Oh yeah.
And
Maybe Prime. Yeah.
Now-
Prime just didn't.
And
pop
Amazon
everywhere.
owns IMDb.
and that's my point. They didn't even
They
bother.
could have done it
Yeah.
for free. They were like,
they could have done it for free, and they just didn't even. They're like, oh no, we're making more money with Seresto. We got to get that flea and tick money because no one's fucking signing up for this dog shit film.
Bezos. It's probably one of Bezos' ex-wife's charity, and she just gave them a bunch of money to run that. You think?
Yeah,
No?
I don't know.
Of course not. I don't know.
They have enough money to. They don't even know where it all goes.
Fucking weird people.
All right, so three yeses to this movie.
What?
Flip it and reverse it.
Yeah, I'm good. Are you guys?
I'm good.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm good.
Join us next time.
Yeah.
So we will be taking a small break. But when we return, we will return the week of the 8th,
Yep.
which is solar eclipse
Yep.
Yeah.
week and also Masters week. And in celebration, we are going to be talking about our favorite golf movies. We would normally do a top 5, but
There's not enough.
there's only 5 golf movies, so it'd just be us talking about the movies
Ever
in different
made
order.
ever.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so we'll binge some golf movies
Yeah.
between now and then.
Heck yeah.
And if you guys have any golf movies you want us to watch that is not Caddyshack, Happy Gilmore, etc., the heavy hitters, let us know in the comments, and we'll add it to our watch list.
Throw us some nuance movies that we haven't seen
Yeah.
yet, so we can kind of get into that.
I'm
a
so
little bit.
excited to watch Legend of Bagger Vance again.
Oh god.
I don't know why that movie popped into my head just now.
Well, it's in
is.
the vein,
I saw that with my dad.
and he hated
Yeah.
it.
He hated it.
Yeah,
How'd I know?
Yep.
we're gonna do a golf movie. Ah, nice, but it's actually gonna be about PTSD for war. What?
Sounds great.
I don't know if we got Will Smith. Great, green light.
Yep. We got the
So-
Goodwill Kid.
Yep.
Yep. Let's make it.
So, anyways,
Anyways, yeah.
that'll be next
All
time.
right, yeah.
Our favorite golf movies. Maybe we'll see if we can watch all of them, and then
There's actually quite a few golf movies here.
yeah, but some of those are
Yeah, I mean there's some stinkers, but they're here.
the
Give us a little variety.
But yeah, maybe we can come to a consensus on the best golf movie
Yeah.
ever, or maybe not.
Tune in to find out.
Yeah, we'll be naked. What?
Please, Jay.
Chaps.
Shaft.
Caddy
Balls.
hack. A struggling golf course suffers a string of caddy murders at the paws of pesticide-mutated gophers. I don't mean to ruin next week's show, boys, but that might be on my...
That sounds like a drinking and commentary kind of movie.
Yeah, and we're not doing documentaries,
No.
Oh,
so
Nah.
no.
no documentaries.
Yeah, I don't think Cooper's interested in a golf documentary.
No.
No, there's a pretty
Nah,
good
I'd
one
rather
that
not.
Bill Murray narrated. It was about what is it called? Loopers. It's about
Loopers.
caddies.
Oh. A documentary about caddies?
Mm-hmm. I saw it on an airplane when I was traveling for work one time, and I was like, "Oh, it's pretty good."
Really?
Okay. I would watch a documentary about golf if it's...
Dude, the Full Swing thing on Netflix is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy that a lot.
Did you finish season 2?
I didn't. Not yet. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Nah, you don't. Yeah, he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. I'm starting to watch more sports,
Are you?
but it's just golf.
That's all right.
I watched the Players Championship.
Nice.
Joanna was pissed. She's like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "I'm going to watch this for a little bit." And it was like Sunday. It started at like 1, didn't end till like 6. And she's like, "This is the longest show ever." And I'm like, yeah. I was like, it's live. It's a sport. She's like, when will this be over? I'm like, I don't know. It's live. She couldn't.
She doesn't understand.
She didn't understand.
So you're becoming your dad. I remember I used to get mad at my dad for watching
that's
golf
what I'm
all
hearing,
day.
yeah.
Well, my dad never watched golf.
Oh.
He,
Well, you're becoming my dad.
yeah.
I'm becoming my dad slowly too.
And
I'll watch the Masters.
I fell asleep watching.
Oh, there you go. You wake
And
up.
I woke up. It's still going on. I was like, God, it's like
there we go.
It's like a
You
couple
have your
warm soup.
pimento toast Sammy while you're watching the Masters, Murph. I know you are. Look at him. He's laughing too hard.
Pimento Sammy.
Pimento cheese sandwich.
He's been dreaming of it since last year.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
That's next time.
All right. Till next time, Jay.
Till next time, Coop.
Till next time, Murph.
Next time,
All right.
Coop.
Till next time, Jay.
Till next time, Matt.